Hey everyone, hello Easton. This is Harrison Young from my TV show Topic Time. I have a few underwriters for the show. I'll read them off very quickly and then we'll start. Janela's Alterations, Men's Suits, 185 North Main Street in Mansfield. Juice on Main Juice Bar, 240 North Main Street in Mansfield. Cavallo and Signorello Insurance, 190 Chauncey Street in Mansfield. CNC Reading Farm, 175 East Center Street, West Bridgewater. Tech MD Home Device Service, 721 Belmont Street in Brockton. Thank you all, and now we will start the show. Here we go.
Go snap. You can snap. Little jazz.
Good afternoon, everyone, and hello, Easton. This is Harrison Young. I am a host of a TV show called Topic Time, and we are on it right now. I brought it to many different towns in the area, and I'm expanding it ever further. And just like I've been doing in the previous towns where I've hosted the show, I'm bringing on more great guests, and I sure have a few here tonight. I'm going to name them one at a time, and we're going to talk about what they do. They're all in the film industry, acting, producing, and all that stuff, and we're going to go over that. Well, first to my right, to my immediate right, this gentleman, his name is, well, his given name, I guess, is Ted Schock, but he likes to be called Ted Sterner, and I think the reason is because he looks just like Ted Turner, only he's sterner. Couldn't resist that one, right? Next to him is a lovely young lady named Rizzobella Carangi, is that how you say it?
Carangi, yes.
Okay. And she's an actress as well, and she's part of this film company, and you know, and he mentors her a little bit, as well as the gentleman on her right, Danny Felix, another actor, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Danny.
All right, folks. Well, Ted, you're the one I brought on board initially, so let's talk to you first, and then we're going to work these two folks, these two awesome people, into the conversation. Tell me about your film career, your film production work, and go for it. And I'll interject if I have any questions. And then maybe we'll cover your previous history as a kid growing up, because I usually do that if we have time. But go for what I just asked you.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Really, it would be too long for the show.
Okay. Good.
But I became very interested in acting as I needed to do something for myself that I enjoyed, rather than just being a dad and the kids are growing up out of the household, they're moving out. And so I went to Boston Casting, CP Casting, and went to New York, threw myself under the bus to see what I needed for training.
Okay, did you visit those places in the order you just mentioned?
To tell you the truth, I don't remember. My objective was to see not only what I needed for training, but what I didn't need for training, so I wouldn't waste my time and money. And really get to the meat of what you need to be on set to be effective, what you need to learn, where do you start.
Okay.
So that's what I did. That was 3 years ago.
That was only 3 years ago. Now, a quick question: Did you ever go to school for acting as a younger guy? You're not that old, I know that, but just to throw in that in for effect, I'm just curious.
No, I never went to college for it.
Okay.
No, I went to college for communications.
Okay, well that's similar. I did it, as did I, so I understand it. Okay. But when you were going to college for communications, what was your long-term goal then?
Basically, support myself and a family I might have in the future at that time.
I understand, but what about, in terms of vocation?
It was general. It was focused on computer networks and repair.
Okay.
And then it branched out to video, audio, any service you might need in your business.
Oh, okay, so I'm just wondering. Okay, and that makes sense from communications. All right, go on. So talk about your stints with Boston Casting, CP, and then New York.
Well, I found that because I read so much that the training was sufficient, really sufficient if you don't read. But as I read so much, I found myself more and more hungry, and that their 5-week classes weren't enough for me personally.
Okay.
Fantastic teachers.
Okay. When you talk about, when you say read, what do you like to read? That's
well, for instance, going on set, it's not the time to learn. So that would be getting involved with these people. You'd want to know the definitions that you're going to hear of the words on set. Get back to your ones, hit your mark. if you're doing that on set, you might be walked off, even as a background actor.
Okay.
They don't have time for that. It's not time for learning. They're not a school. So I learned all that. I broke open Google and some books and
About acting?
about acting.
Oh, okay.
sure.
That's what I
and
wanted
then
to
from
find
there,
out. Okay.
I mean, for instance, we know what the moment is. We have to be in the moment.
Right.
And that's actually key for any camera shy people.
It totally is.
But it's not time to learn what that means on set. If you can't get it in the moment, if you're fortunate enough to have dialogue, if you can't get in the moment and understand that, you'll probably be walked off and somebody will take it.
I understand you.
So I
End
did
up
all
on the
that.
cutting room floor. I
There
get
you
it.
go. You don't make the cut, right?
You don't even get that far.
That's
Okay.
right. From there, I started hungering a more in-depth training. So I went from Bates Wilder and Lorna Sleeper Brunel. From
These are right.
these are teachers in the
Teachers of
area,
acting
sure.
world,
And they work
okay.
for the casting offices on the side.
Okay.
I went from them, and because I lived so far away, I needed someone to Skype with. And at that time, I decided to go with Rod Rowland
Okay.
out of LA.
Cool.
And,
Wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I've gone out there a couple times, met him, we've become friends. And his clout and his experience coming in from the back
Yep.
of what professional sets are really like pushed me to a point now where my acting has really moved along quite well.
Of course. Yeah. And I've seen some of it,
yeah.
and it's amazing.
Yeah, and what you saw, and I'm not putting it on tonight, is the old demo reel. The new demo reel in the last year is much more, it's very smooth, it's palatable. I can disturb you better
Well, that's
if I
good.
want to disturb you or change you.
Because
So
when I
it is
hear that,
good.
when I hear that something that was acceptable is going to be new and improved, all I can say is, wow, I can't wait to see that. In the
Yes, sir.
meantime, I'll just enjoy what I saw so far and keep that ready for the next thing.
No,
Get that anticipation brewing.
Well, isn't it funny as we become more acclimated to our industries, we look back and go, "Ooh, that wasn't so good."
Well,
and it's all out there.
I know, but you got to move on. I do the
That's
same
right.
thing with my show.
It's
All
a
right,
learning process.
Let's talk to these other folks here that you have. Let's see, Rizzobella.
Yes,
All right, talk about your situation and how you got hooked up with Ted and your own acting life, if you would.
Well, I actually met Ted at a Barstool Stories.
Oh, I've heard of that. That's with I can't. Go ahead. You tell me who it is. I was invited to one of those. Isn't the guy's name Scott Bannister?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was on stage, and him and another actress, Mira, were doing some lovely work.
Okay.
And Mira dropped her lines, and he was
Poor Mira.
gently coaching her through it.
Okay.
And I desperately wanted to jump on there and help improv her way out of that so it would feel more comfortable. She would figure out where to begin. But instead, I continued to watch because it's not my production, and I'm not going to disrupt somebody else's production, even if I wanted to.
Cool. Okay.
After it was done, I went and I introduced myself to Ted. You know, I mean, he did some really brilliant work. Like,
Thank
I
you.
was pleased to see what I saw.
That's awesome. So now, when you two met, did you decide you were going to coagulate in some projects together, or what?
No, we went our own ways and stuff. I just wanted to let a fellow actor know that, I mean, his work was really good.
Okay, and I'm
You know,
sure.
like, I was impressed.
And you was impressed with her as she was with you? I mean, all right, no, that's an unfair question. Obviously, you're not going to say no, but I mean, obviously, though, you hit it off pretty well, and you knew that she had talent, and so, well, you tell me, where was how did your talent take you to the next level? What happened?
I just kept getting the work. So
Okay.
I would read the books. I would go to acting classes. I would watch everybody on Facebook because we have a network on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
We just kind of interact with each other.
That'd be
share-
Hollywood East with Erica Derrickson by any chance?
Yeah, Erica,
Okay,
right.
Erica was on my show a few years ago.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
So, through social media, the networking, the questions, the actors helping other actors, that's how I would just make it to the next level because they would share the information that I need to, go forward to proceed in my career.
Okay, and speaking of which, I'm just curious, and well, you know what? I'm going to ask you, all three of you, to name as many projects as you can as we move the show along, but it's unfair. I got to talk to Danny a little bit. Danny, tell me about how you went inundated with these folks, too.
So, for
And
starters,
acting as well.
I really only started acting in January. It's only been
Just this year?
Just this year.
Wow.
I've always been interested in being on the big screen.
Okay.
Since I was a kid, just being able to take somebody.
Just so you know, I'm sitting here looking at you right now. I get a feeling you would be great in a dated scene like something from the 15th century with the hair and the beard. Look, you look like you'd be one of those one of those Roman, you know, not, I don't know, not Roman, what am I thinking of? One of those English peasants, possibly, you know,
Sweet.
it's taking over the revolution kind of thing,
Yeah.
kind of look, or French.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Look,
I am
though.
French, so that works.
There you go.
Um,
I read people pretty well, but go on.
So, I've always been interested, like I was saying, in being on the big screen since I was a kid. Just
Yep.
being able to take somebody away from their day in the 2 hours that a film is on, and just so they forget about.
Just help them forget everything.
Yeah.
And keep concentrating on what you're doing up on the screen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Cool.
go ahead.
And so how far, and what projects have you done in relation to that since January?
So I started by following Hollywood East.
Okay.
And I linked up with a guy, Mike Goudreau, I think his name is.
Okay, I don't know
I don't
that
know how to
name,
pronounce
but
his last name. Well,
that's
he does student films. It's
Where, Emerson?
no, I'm not exactly sure off the top
Okay.
of my head. But anyways, he does student films. So me and a friend, we linked up with him and made a student film.
Well, when you say made a student film, are you talking for a college or just, I mean, are you a
Well,
college
he
student?
he does his own student films, just like low budget films.
I
just
understand,
for his
but
own-
it's not, the reason I asked Emerson is because some of the colleges in Boston, including Emerson, and I've been in some of their student films, and BC as well, I've had guests on the show that said they've done student films at BC and BU, but you're not talking about any college?
No, not
Okay, I
like
got
that.
it.
So from there, I just started. Actually, I saw a post that Joe McGee put up for Letters for Annie,
Joe,
Okay.
right?
asking for a soldier for Fall River, and
Asking for what in Fall River?
a soldier, somebody to play a soldier in Fall
Okay, they were
River.
asking, and you look like you said you wanted to be a soldier. No?
I knew somebody,
You knew somebody, okay.
Chris Silva.
Okay,
Chris
He's
Pratt.
in the film, and so when I mentioned Chris, when I told Chris to contact him, I continued to speak with Joe
okay.
about my interest in being in the film. And at first, it was going to be just kind of a background thing,
Yep,
but he actually took it just a little step further and gave me, I was the doorman at the post office.
Right.
We'll just say that.
what, in the film?
Yes.
Okay,
So-
that's good. Listen, yeah, everybody has to start
Yes,
somewhere.
Yes. But when we met that day,
Yep,
he was already ready to tell me about the next role that he had
Oh,
planned for me.
wow.
So that was interesting.
you
I was actually pretty excited about that.
you obviously saw you had talent,
Yeah.
you were, you know, worthy of more recognition.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about Joe McGee. He's obviously a mentor for all you folks. Now tell me about him. Who is he and what does he do?
Well,
We're probably gonna get him on the show eventually too, so,
oh yeah, we'll be here again. That's our
let's
goal, is to
preview
be
him
with you
first.
again.
yeah, okay.
We all ran into the uniqueness of Joe McGee at different ways. We've all been cast in his films.
Okay,
And we also have something else in common. We get on smaller projects and they fail
okay,
for whatever reasons. It's
Okay.
usually financially,
Yeah.
logistics. It's difficult.
sure,
Kudos to your learning. I mean, that's just keep going.
okay,
But what I found with Joe McGee is he's so unique. He's such a gentle professional
okay,
who actually on the side has started writing books. He's got 3 books out.
okay. About acting or just novels or what?
Just a novel type of stories.
I got you, okay.
One's a kind of a sci-fi story coming up. We're all in.
Sweet.
But he writes his own books and then he makes films
Right.
and we're so-
out of the books?
out of the books.
There you go, beautiful.
And he is just very organized.
Yep.
He knows his finances and he completes the projects. And at mine and Rizzo's current state, it's very important.
Okay,
Dan is newer. It's awesome that you're on with somebody who can complete the projects because the frustration level will go up and then you might get discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
So we came on with Joe and he just proved himself to be a good leader,
Cool.
well organized,
Yep.
and matter of fact, we'll show you a clip of he took me on as a drunk lawyer and realized I might not be able to do it. So he approached me at the car.
why, you look like a drunk lawyer.
I can be a drunk lawyer. He approached me at the car and they were filming and he asked me some questions. So
Okay.
we'll show you that clip.
Sure,
Hey, Ted.
It's okay. I'm a lawyer.
That's your card?
Here's my card.
Thank you.
Just call me anytime except for after 5 and before 10.
You got it. You just hit someone, though. Did you see the car here? You just actually got into an accident.
The hell are you doing in my way?
In your way, he's parked. You drove into him.
Trying to push him. ways around this. Now, obviously, Joe and I hit it off.
Sure, yep.
And we loved each other right from the beginning.
Okay,
He took me on and these other beautiful people for reflections.
cool. That's it. Now, that's one of his books, right?
That's his next book. Yeah.
That's his next book, okay.
It's ready. I started talking to him. I said, Joe, there's so many actors out there
Right,
and so many people with dreams. And the problem is only a small percentage can really give you the proper nuance without a lot of training on set. It's going to be problematic. You have a huge cast.
right,
Why don't you let me take what I know and work with them? Granted, I am not the top coach in the United States. I am not Rod Rowland from LA.
right.
He's been great ever since he dated Gillian Anderson in the 80s.
Okay,
I'll listen to him for that alone. But I'm not the best coach. But at the amount of time we have, I can easily take these newer people who want coaching and training so we can nail our scenes. And what came about was we started working with basic dialogue of the set.
okay,
So when they come onto set, they're fully acclimated to the set, completely comfortable. They're not camera shy. We're going to do a short of mine
okay,
for the film festivals.
right,
And one scene, one set, one day shoot. It's going to be fantastic. But they're going to come on and they're going to own their role. They're going to be synthesized with the script and own their role as though whatever their characters want is very important to them. They're not going to have to worry about the little red light coming on.
Okay.
They're not going to have to worry about having their lav mic wire out.
Right.
They're going to know they don't have to worry about it. They just look at somebody and say, and it's going to be taken care of. That's our goal. So we're going to eventually have a full pool of experienced, trained actors who are absolutely confidential,
yep,
absolutely vulnerable, so we can correct each other.
okay,
You know, I tell them right from the get-go, you'll see me synthesize with this script. It's going to be 5 readings. It's not going to be 150 anymore. But if I get up there, walk over and say, Ted, you suck.
okay.
You're dropping this line. And I have to be vulnerable enough to say, yes, I know. Why can't I get it right? And they can give me something like a substitution as if situation. And we can have this pool of people who don't allow their internal obstacles such as pride, stubbornness, whatever, get in the way of creating a better production each and every time for McGee Productions or even Stamper Productions.
You know what productions?
Stamper Productions is out of Windsor Locks. Is a new producer.
It's in Connecticut.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
I
got
see,
a
okay.
national brand
Okay,
through him. So these people are coming together with educations and backgrounds for leadership and affording us the opportunity to really get into the nitty gritty.
okay,
And don't get me wrong, these people, whoever comes to us in our network will be fully acclimated. They can leave and go to do other productions. We're not going to own them, but we want them ready to step forward. I think she's going to be a star. Rizzo is going to be a star quicker than either one of us, okay? I want her to be able to walk out and say, I need Kat Shea in LA for a coach. Kat Shea is a friend of mine.
Okay.
She coached Drew Barrymore.
cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
and she's actually doing a.
Boy, she must, I don't want to say old, but Drew Barrymore has been in the industry for 30,
Right.
almost
she
almost 40
directed
years.
Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore. She
Right,
did a few
okay.
other things.
What about
Rage.
E.T.? That was Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, she
That
was so.
that's what I'm thinking. That
And
was
that
her
was-
first
she
film
was
in
cute.
1982.
So
Okay.
these students will be able to go in, whether you Skype, whether you go visit these great teachers,
Right,
and save 5 or 10 weeks just getting acclimated to how they're teaching. They already know what they're talking about. They're already speaking the right language.
okay,
Beats, actions, right? All those hurdles. So what's the objective? They don't have to think about that anymore, spending their money for that training. They already know it. Now
Okay.
they can just get the one-on-one and they can be refined for characters. And that's the objective. All started by Joe McGee and people who have some intestinal fortitude enough to say, I want more.
okay. Now let's talk. Before I know that you're singing his praises and he's awesome. So let's talk about the current project Reflections. How far along is that? Are you like going on set regularly to complete it, or is it not at that stage yet?
We are in the pre-production stages.
Okay.
We have our location set. Joe's got 90% of them. He's still tweaking the cast here or there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How many is he going to need? Do you think?
How
I mean,
many, how many does he have? He must have 40.
Really?
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Who are you three, obviously, and then he's okay, but he needs to get more people?
It looks like he's going to be casting more. That's something else. If I just caught the interest of some younger kids in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't want to travel for this, but I have to say Joe is very efficient. It probably won't be an overnight stay if you're on his set.
Of course not.
But he's really still tweaking the
Okay.
whole idea. The script will probably be ready in February. Some of us will get our scripts a little early so we can work it.
Right, I understand.
And which
Okay.
is great training because, as you know as well as I do, sometimes they change the dialogue. And we have to be malleable. We have to be ready. So that's where it is right now.
Well, you guys got each other's backs, and that's awesome. So when it comes to getting ready to do one of his films or anybody's, I take it the three of you and several other people that you might know get together, you arrange meetings at places where you can rehearse or or sharpen your skills, correct?
Right.
Absolutely. Like he and I will Skype sometimes and just go over lines over and over again until we're
That's
almost
good.
ready to kill each other.
Oh, there you go. That's great. Okay. And I know sometimes it must be frustrating and painstaking, but in the end, you're gonna look back and say, boy, was it ever worth it? And totally worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, in terms of anything, I'm just curious. I like to break down my guests' other talents as well. Have any of you done any writing before, as younger, anything else creative? Played any music? Done any dancing? Send any shocking messages that end up becoming art or the painting, whatever, anything like that? Just want to know. Because a lot of my guests are multifaceted, and I like to find out everything I can find out in the time we do the show.
I would like to think myself as well versed at many things.
Okay.
As a child, I was involuntarily made to learn musical instruments.
There you go.
Study
Okay.
mixed martial arts, draw, write,
Cool.
type.
Yeah.
That was by
Okay.
far the worst. That was punishment for me.
Sounds like you had a very motivated background growing up.
Very much so.
Okay. What about you?
I played the recorder in elementary school.
I
That's
did
about
too.
it for instruments or
Didn't
anything.
everybody play that?
Yes, but so.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
And other than that, I also trained in mixed martial arts.
So you
I did
both look pretty rough and tumble.
I did karate when I was younger. I didn't stay too long, but I was back into mixed martial arts training last year for about a year. My schedule kind of got full
Okay.
and kind of had to.
Now,
Drop out,
either of you in college now? You both look college age. You never went to college?
I did.
You did. Where'd
I
you
did.
go?
I went to New England Tech. in
Oh, okay, in Rhode Island.
Yep.
Okay. You maybe know Chris Esper then.
Yeah, I heard of him. Yes.
You've heard of him. Okay, he's a legend too. Just like
Yeah.
you're on your way to becoming. All right. Well, so what is the next we're in the fall of 2018. What does your schedules look like for among these categories in the next several weeks? For acting, filmmaking.
I want to say
Until
mine is a
the
little on the
Flexi
crazy
script
side.
is ready, what are you going to be doing?
Actually, I'm already working with Ted. Actually, we're both working with Ted on one of his shorts.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yes.
With Joe?
No,
Oh,
this is Ted's.
We'll fill it in. I'll fill it
okay.
in for you.
Go ahead.
So we're actually working on that and some regular training. And in between that, every now and then, we pick up a little bit of work along the way.
Okay, that's cool. Now, you mentioned you both in the mixed martial arts. Ever do any stunt work in films, or would that help you do it if you wanted to?
I would like to. I haven't.
You
Yeah.
haven't?
I probably would not.
Oh, how about you? You look like a rough and tumble guy yourself.
My first stunt experience was on that scene from Mr. McGee.
Okay.
And Sal Del Greco was a former professional wrestler. Took
Okay.
me aside and
I've heard of him.
yeah, Sal's a great guy, and he worked me through it. So the drunken lawyer gets a punch down. He gets
Oh.
slapped down. So
Ooh, yeah.
it was interesting. I'm actually going to talk to him about expanding that training a little bit.
Cool.
Because yeah, I'll go through a door if you need me to go through a door. I have no
You
problem.
don't care what it's made of, right? You go.
No,
You go for that door right there. It's 3-inch metal.
Yeah,
Heavy metal.
we'll take care of that.
Yeah, I know you will. Okay, and I'll owe the TV station money to replace it. That'll be great.
This is a wonderful studio.
It
It's
is.
very good.
I know. I want to keep it that way. This is my first show here. I don't want to leave it, making it look any worse than. I want to keep it looking beautiful as it looked when I got here.
That's right. It's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. What about now? Okay. you guys, any of you sing at all? Do you do anything musical besides playing the recorder or?
Well, I do sing. It
Do
doesn't
you?
sound good at all.
You have a nice voice. You sound like, you give me the impression you might be good at gospel singing.
No.
No, really?
My singing is just should not be allowed. Like, everybody can sing, not everybody should do it. And
I
I'm one of those
understand.
people.
I'm only saying this because I think the more multifaceted you are, the better, the more likely it is you're gonna have more opportunities to, expand your career, and whatever it is. And the more, the more you put on your resume, the more people are gonna know who you are and say, hey, he does this, he does that, she does this, she does that. And that, that's really cool. So, have any of you ever written anything yourselves?
I've never written anything as far as acting goes. I've
Really?
just written short stories just for my own personal amusement.
Okay.
Like,
What are your friends' reactions to that?
they actually loved it a
Cool.
lot, It's
I
just,
wouldn't mind reading. I wrote a whole book of short stories in the '90s, so I can relate.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's like the best stuff.
They are. I mean, my parents had a big library, they always encouraged me to read, but I decided that, I said to myself one day, boy, if I could only write a book. And one day, in the early '90s, I started writing some short stories, and by the late '90s, it was done. Well, there's a little more to it than that, but this is your show. I'm just hosting it. So, guys, we're under 5 minutes. I want every one of you to, maybe give a last words, give some shouts out to people that are going to see this show, because a lot of people are going to see it. Yes, and then we'll wrap it up.
I just want to say thank you for having us on the show.
Oh, I'm happy to, thank you for being here. I always say it's a great guest to make Topic Time prime.
Yep. And thanks, Ted, for taking me under your wing, so to
That's
speak.
fantastic.
And
Yes. I appreciate that too very much, and I thank you for having us here. very
Okay.
much.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a difference between what you think the studying of acting is all about and what you're getting from me?
Oh, there's a very big difference.
And I hope it helps you,
yeah, it does.
because that really my objective before I am horizontal on the earth is to make sure there's a couple people that fully enjoy acting.
Of course.
And these kids are wonderful, and they're going to do good. Our short is there, like everything else, for a plan to get
Yeah, of course.
McGee out there, and
I always say everything happens for a reason. Well, don't you want to give all three of you give a shout out to Joe McGee?
Joe McGee.
thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And Paul Stamford, great producers.
Okay.
And when we go to the red carpet, I'm going to be inviting you and bring
Oh, I'll
whatever
be
you'd like.
there. This will be
Yep.
one of many invites I've gotten from my guests for different things.
Yep, and we fully believe the short is going to be fun, contemporary, and hitting the film festivals. We have a good crew working on it and working the script, and
Just
it's
curious,
gonna be
what film, before we wrap it up, what film festivals have any of you been involved in so far? I mean, with films that you've appeared in, have you been involved in any?
I've been to one, but I do not remember the name of it.
You don't remember where it was?
No.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
was like so starstruck by everything that was happening. And
Okay.
I was just like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, look at that, that's so beautiful. Look at that, the way this person is dressed. Like, look at this film, it's so beautifully well made.
Well, Rizzo, one suggestion I have for you, because you say you write short stories, maybe you should run one of your short stories by Joe and see if he wants to produce it. You got nothing to lose.
That is a thought,
Yeah,
yes.
I always try to give advice to my guests that will behoove them.
I appreciate it, and that's
Okay.
something I will do.
Well, did you all have a good time on the show tonight?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
I hope-
Thank you very much.
Okay,
It's been a
folks.
pleasure.
Thanks, Easton, for watching Topic Time. There'll be more episodes in the future, I hope. And in the meantime, we're gonna wrap it up and we'll do more episodes as time allows. Thank you very much. You ready to jiggy with it again?
It's good to
Absolutely.
get with it.
Okay, here we go. Take care, folks. Here we go. You guys got the rhythm down.
Side movement.